Yeah, sorry this review's up a little later than usual. I just had to take 15 showers after watching the first 15 minutes of this movie. Holy God. The Witch! Oh my God! So The Witch is the feature film directorial debut of writer and director Robert Eggers. Needed to remember his name because I'm horrible with names, but this dude really does have a career ahead of him, so watch out for that name. And it concentrates on a family in the middle of BFE, the middle of nowhere in New England. I believe this is the 1600s, I could be wrong about that. And they're in their cabin, they're hanging out, doing whatever they do for entertainment in the 1600s. And you know the settlers from those commercials? It's like that, but much more gray. So seriously, the color palette and the color scheme in this movie, I was like, it's very cloudy and wet all the time, and I live in Washington State, and it bothered me. However, in the woods next to these people, there's a witch, and so horrific shit starts happening to this family in a very subtle way. The bummer about this movie is it's gonna start off on the wrong foot for a lot of people because it is horribly mismarketed. There is one thing in the trailer that can kind of get your mind in the mindset for what this movie actually is, and that is when the trailer talks about it got a lot of buzz at Sundance. It's an indie movie, a Sundance movie that got a lot of buzz. Right there, you should know it's a pretty artsy movie. I say that because I was in an auditorium full of a bunch of stoner teenagers and they were like, all right, let's get scary. It wasn't really like that. And they all walked out like, what the fuck? This movie is a period piece that happens to have some witchcraft elements that start subtly happening to this family. The closest thing I've seen this movie be compared to, and I was like, that's actually accurate, was The Shining. The Shining, set in the 1600s, with a drab, really weathered looking family who all talk like they're speaking out of the King James Bible all the time. I'll say that about the movie too. The acting was awesome because these people had to talk like, I love thee as thou lovest thine, nay for hither. And sometimes when people speak like that in movies, you can tell they're kind of scripting it out and they're like, I'm not really feeling the dialogue. Everyone in this movie, I bought that's how they talked, and the way they actually convey it to the audience is like, it's remarkably natural. Good job, actors. However, you have to know this. This movie goes for the slow burn for sure. And I'm gonna decode it for you right here. Slow burn is artsy-fartsy film speak for a movie that was boring in quite a few scenes. Now, that's not to say the movie's bad. I'm not saying the movie's bad. The movie certainly has quality. I'm just saying that's true. Assimilate the information however you want. I'm just saying if I looked into my camera and said, yeah, the movie never bored me at all whatsoever, I'd be lying my ass off, and I don't want to do that. But it has tone for days. That's what the movie is tone and tension, because it's tension for the sake of tension, not tension for the sake of payoff. What I mean by that is just tension winding, and even in the end of the movie, it's just like, all right, we wound the tension. You don't really have a release. There's some disturbing imagery in a few parts in the movie, but all in all, it's tension for the sake of tension. It's like, tension. Because tension. One of the things I really liked about this movie is one of those things you'll see if you see it, and I feel like a lot of people will see it, but it's camouflaged under a really disturbing and creepy vibe. But you notice that there are a lot of elements taken from fairy tales that you know. What better way to get adults to be scared of the dark again than to take their childhood memories of fairy tales that are all nice and la-di-da happy and just kind of burn it to the ground. I'll say this, and I gotta lay it down on the level. The Witch is a period piece about a family, and that's what you gotta know going into it. If you go for great acting in a period piece about a family living in the middle of nowhere with creepy atmosphere, you'll enjoy the movie. But if you're going to this movie for a scary movie, you're gonna be disappointed, and I think that's just a fact of life. In the end, I enjoyed The Witch, but I didn't enjoy the movie as much as every other reviewer and every other critic out there did, that I've seen anyway. A lot of people are like, oh, The Witch, give me The Witch. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I feel like my response in this video is gonna be underwhelming for the people who are blowing up my Twitter and like, oh my God, you gotta talk about The Witch. I'm somewhere in the middle with this movie, and I will say The Witch is a good time, no alcohol required. Let's hope people actually came here for my opinion. This is the movie people are talking about this weekend, so The Witch, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you wanna see more, click right here to see more.